Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Sorry I've been really shit with YouTube videos, so this is going to be the last one of the off season. It is March and I started the off season properly last January, so it's been 14 months of putting size on and I'm about 30 odd pounds heavier than I started. So it's been productive, it's been good. You know, a bit of a rocky off season with many things. I had a knee injury, that got sorted, I kept tweaking my lower back. Injured both my quads. Recently it's been my shoulder, but hopefully today the wheels don't fall off as I'm training. So today's going to be a back day, kind of going to be a bit of the stuff I've had to change and utilise this off season to continue growing. So there's going to be some stuff there that's quite scientific and specific that you kind of see full on Instagram these days, and there's going to be a bunch of bro sciencey stuff there that people don't want to do anymore because it's hard. So there'll be the best of both worlds in there. Going to start off with some shoulder mobility because I've, like I said, I recently injured my shoulder. At the moment, I'm doing 20 minutes fasted cardio in the morning, and then straight after that, I do shoulder mobility. So I'm doing it every day anyway. But then before I train, I'll do some more mobility work, and then I'll get stuck into the back session. And at the end of it, I'll do a kind of a DC style heavy stretch, just to really take the piss. But it's also a nice way to decompress the spine afterwards, after a lot of heavy lifting. In terms of where I'm at, like training wise, it's roughly still just one heavy set, one back off, and on the back off, that's when we have the intensifiers. So today there's only one cluster set, then one rest pause set, and I think the rest are all straight sets off the top of my head. So yeah, let's get stuck into it. Thank you for tuning in, and hope you enjoy it. And I can get after it. I've got to beat this guy over here. Where am I? Look, skinny kid over there, and up top over there as well. And that's what I'm beating on stage this year. Got to be better than that. So let's get after it again. First exercise, Nautilus machine pullover. Always nice to start with a pullover machine because the elbow pass, which is how you kind of lap moves, that's quite an extreme movement. So you kind of get a really nice big stretch and squeeze in it early on when it's nice and fresh. What I do is have a pause at the top, pause at the bottom, really emphasise the lengthened and shortened positions, which is the scientific way of saying just make it hurt a bit more for a bit longer. Keeping the reps quite high, so 2 warm-up sets, sometimes 3 if I need it, and then 2 working sets of 12 to 15, so quite high reps, really, when you think about it. Both of those working sets to failure, and I prefer doing this with an underhand grip, but because the belt's broken on the machine, trying to stay upright like that is quite difficult when it gets really heavy, so I've got to kind of stay a bit more like that with the hands over, which is not ideal, but it's only a small difference. And also, if anything, it's a little bit easier on my shoulder after injuring it, so I'm quite literally just going to belt myself in like this with a canabiana, which is Italian for policeman. Obviously it's not as good, but otherwise I can do the full stack. Otherwise I go fucking, my form goes to shit because fucking I'm halfway off the seat rather than because I've exhausted the lat. That's no good, is it? Some people say you don't need to log. I say logging is just a great way of staying accountable to what you're doing and making sure you're progressing. Because if you notice a pattern of you're not beating your numbers, you know something somewhere is not quite right. So it's a good way of signalling you need to change something, or you're missing out on a recovery principle, maybe not sleeping well enough. you know, not being hydrated enough, not getting enough food in before you train. Logbooks help. They're like, it's reliable information that you can use, so don't shy away from it. Because some people say, oh, I can train by feel. It's like, yeah, fucking anyone can train by feel. Doesn't mean it's good training. Single arm Nautilus pull downs, very popular movement these days. And I think, you know, people see it on Instagram and think, oh, that's the way to build your lats, because it isolates your lats more. Isolated lats don't necessarily mean you're working them harder. Just because you can isolate something, if you're doing it with not enough intensity, you're still not going to give it a reason to grow that specific muscle. So when I set this movement up, I set it up so I can get the most out of the lat, but I also make sure I'm contracting it hard. Like I said over there, contract hard on the way down. See, a lot of people, that's just like, to me, it's the incorrect way to do this movement, because you're just not getting as much out of it as you could do. So people do this, they sit upright, and then they really slowly do that down to there, slowly back up to there, slowly back down to there. And what I think is a better way of doing it is get yourself in, brace, hand there to brace yourself, then from there, crunch the obliques. Now this is in line here, so my elbow path can go straight through to the bottom of my lat. And I think about driving my elbow down into my pocket. So I'm in this position here and I come down hard. Squeeze hard, and right there when I'm squeezing, I can feel like I'm gonna rip my fucking lat off the bone. Control it on the way up, pause. And that's what I think is the best way to set it up. I'm not saying I'm right. I've studied it a bit more than some others, but just try it, because I feel like that is getting the most out of that movement for the muscle I'm trying to target, my lat, and also my lats are getting a little bigger. So if I've got evidence supporting my claims, then surely there's something to it. So if you're going to do this, I'd say give it a go like that, and over the course of a month or 2 months, you know, look at 2 pictures of your back next to each other and see if they did improve. So I think they will. Yeah, no idea. Got a fucking bag full of shite. And weighs a freaking ton. On prep, I'm gonna get well annoyed at that. I'm gonna be fucking booting shit everywhere because I don't want to carry it. Right, working set 8 to 12, back off of 12 to 15. Every single rep, keeping that pause at the top, pause at the bottom. It's funny when I train with people, as I keep them pauses in, and you see them start to pussy out, and they get to the bottom and they let go, or they get to the top and try and yank it down again. Make the exercise fucking hard. If it hurts, it's hurting for a fucking reason. Don't be a pussy. Same form, pause, stretch, pause at the bottom. Don't rush, powerful down, start on the way up. AKA, don't be a bitch, make all your reps look uniform, just the speed at which the last ones go down will be a bit slower. Barbell rows next. It's an exercise that don't really see many people do anymore, and it's because, I don't know, somewhere along the line people got this idea that barbell rows didn't build your back. Maybe it's because people thought there was the argument about bent over you have to be and all that shit, and people don't really do it anymore, they just do machine shit. But you look at every bodybuilder who's ever had a massive back in history, they all did barbell rows. Dorian did barbell rows, Ronnie barbell rows, Jay barbell rows, you know, Phil barbell rows, everyone did them. So I don't understand why people don't do them now. And I've had them in, I alternate between this and the chest supported T-bar, so I do use obviously your machines as well. But this for me is a king of a back exercise. So if I know it works, and if I know it builds backs, why wouldn't I use it just because some fucking Jimmy knobhead on Instagram has one little scientific article done on a bunch of people that have never lifted a fucking twig, said they didn't get as much back stimulus from doing this as they did some fucking bullshit row that no one wants to do because it's easy. Moral of the story is, if you try it and it works for you, keep it in. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. But I feel like this movement works very well for most people. So don't get caught up in what science is saying if you know it works. You know, there's too many scientists out there, not enough fucking bro scientists like me. Whoever watches this will see how bent over I am and say, well, you need to bend over more. Truth be told, like, the angle you are just affects which part of the back you're working. But I'm concentrating on driving my elbow back towards my waist. The more bent over I am, the more I row. That's going further and further up my back. That's where I want it there, really. See that, mate? I'm trying not to move anything except for my spine. But I want my lower lat to work, and if I row like that, that's my upper back. That's the next exercise. Rowing in that lower lat there. It's a more upright position. You know, don't believe me? Go watch Blood and Guts with Dorian. Unbelievable back, and you see his position. I'm not saying go an ego lift and swing it about. Lift it with some control, but use it to make your back better. Not textbook diagrams that you see on fucking some certain individuals' Instagram pages aren't always reflective of your result that you want to get from it. Some kind of waffle like that. I don't fucking know what I just said. Sounded like a load of bollocks. Let's just lift some heavy weight and have fun. So there you go. We've had some sciencey, specific lat activation, movement patterny bollocks, and then just some fucking good old-fashioned iron slinging. Best of both worlds. Both work, so why not do both? It's fun. It's fun. It's fun to train like this. You know, doing everything perfect Isn't that fun? Sometimes you just got to put some fucking weight on the bar. So incline bench, upper back, dumbbell rows. So like I said over there, with being too bent over on a barbell row, I was trying to use it to engage my lower lats. Now I'm in this position fixed. I'm going to use this, keeping my elbows flared, squeezing my upper back. So we get from top to bottom, all the back, using those two rowing movements. Same thing, build up the weight, heavy set 6 to 10, back off 10 to 12. Very basic way of training, but it's worked. It's a horrible exercise to try and get in. I think the best way is to get as far up the bench as possible and just kind of squat into it like that. So yeah, been alternating between this exercise and the prime row with an upper back focus, and week to week keeps it fresh, keeps it exciting. And I haven't really had to change back training that much really this entire off season. Changed the pull down movements once, and I've changed my hip hinge a few times. Found I kept running into problems there. But in terms of my row movements, I haven't changed at all. So having that slight variations week to week has been very productive. And I've continued to get better, you know. So if someone's looking for a bit of advice on maybe ways to structure the back training, just maybe something like that. Alternating between two movements, but essentially do the same thing, but different ways, different stresses, different forces. And if you get better at both of them, then you know you're in a good spot. Prime grip, low row. I like this prime bar because these little fittings between the carabiners, I want the word that can't escape my mind now, bearing. So they rotate, so you can always rotate the handle as much as you want, get it right in. Because if it was a straight carabiner to the groove, you'd be stuck an angle, so you'd only be able to pull without being able to rotate your wrist. But that little bearing makes all the difference for twisting in and getting that elbow path as accurate as you want. So what I'm doing here, did a light set there at 10 just to get used to the movement. Could do 2 heavy sets now, 12 to 15, all coming up, squeeze at the top, go down. Not too worried about the stretch at the bottom because we've exhausted it a bit. We're just trying to get that last little bit out of there now. On the second set, do that 12 to 15 hit failure, 45 seconds rest, max reps, 30 seconds rest, max reps, 15 seconds rest, max reps, 5 seconds rest, partials, and that will really take the piss, so that'll be a good way to finish. still got PTSD. I did this exercise in Graftism gym, and the bearing that secures the cable into the stack fucking went. So as I rode back, fucking whole thing just went ping. I went flying back. There's a wall right behind me. So the end of the bench is here. Here's a wall. Head goes into the wall, and I go head first, like between the bench and the wall. So my neck's getting crumpled in. I'm fucking sandwiched in there, so I'm just flailing my limbs about like a you know, beetle on its back. Couldn't fucking move. Everyone in the gyms was staring at me, and it's very embarrassing. And I had my head hurt afterwards. I couldn't deadlift, which is a bit disappointing. But I got a free protein shake off the lads at Graftism for it, so you win some, you lose some. So 45 seconds rest, max reps, 30 seconds max reps, 15 seconds max reps, 5 seconds partials. 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Paused RDLs now. There's something about doing your big pulls at the end of a back session that's just extra ultra savage. And you know, 6 exercises in, and I'm now going to try and pull 6 plates. That's going to do some fucking serious damage to your back. I always find that doing big heavy pulls at the end of the session, I feel like I'm engaging my whole back a lot more than I would do if doing them at the beginning. And you know, if you're getting strong at the end of your session, then you're actually getting really fucking strong at doing the pulls. Why the RDL? Why the paused RDL? So I was doing stiff legs from the floor, and I kept noticing I was getting tweaks in my lower back and the SI joint and the muscles around it. It's probably because I've just got a slight curve in my spine. So then we switched it to deadlifts from the floor, but when I do deadlifts from the floor, my glutes grow really fast and they go out of proportion. Every bikini girl's dream, but that's not what we're after. So then I switched it to stiff legs from blocks, but the platform over there is fucking smashed to shit. So it was still off, and I felt like I was twisting off the floor. So nah, it's no good. So then I've dropped it back to the RDL. You can't get wrong with the old classic RDL. Going down, not pause at the bottom, make it as fucking nasty and horrible as possible. Explode up. You know, when you do your RDLs, explode up. It's an explosive fucking movement. Get a lot of strength in there. You know, some people for some reason try and turn RDLs into a pump movement. They're a big compound exercise that target a lot of big muscles. Make them powerful, make them strong, because that's, in my opinion, going to get you the biggest muscles out of it, and that's the goal, isn't it? Get bigger rubber. I don't do pulls with a belt on either, which surprises most people. But I'm trying to train my lower back here, so I put a belt on that restricts it all. I'm restricting the area, the muscles that I'm trying to stretch and contract. So that to me is inefficient then. You know, the whole point is I'm trying to make those muscles stronger. Why am I putting something on to protect what those muscles are doing and also restricting their movement? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, little tidbit. Of 5 to 8, more around the 5 mark. And then the back off will be this absolutely disgusting 4x4 cluster set, which sounds easy and it's honestly the worst thing I do all week and I hate it. But every time I do it, before I do it, I say do the shit no one else wants to do. Because believe me, no one wants to fucking do that. And yeah. So first of all, this set, 6 plates on the bar. I've trained with intent, fairly aggressive, not really that aggressive really. But on this one, this is when I put the headphones in and get quite spiritually aggressive. Because if you didn't, the fucking bar would try and snap you in half. You've got to find something, a reason inside of you to want to pick this up in the first fucking place, let alone do it as many times as you can without killing yourself. So headphones going to go in, it's going to get very serious. All right, time to pick up this fucking weight. Oh, come on then! Easy fucking shit. One fucking more! Did 300 Saturday, less than 24 hours later, trained legs. It's Wednesday now, and I just did 260 for 6 paused RDL PR. Fucking horrible, but gotta be willing to train like a fucking bastard to get new muscle that you never had before. To have the nicest plan in the work, and if you train like a pussy, you'll have a pussy's physique. So fucking do the hard shit, do the hard shit really hard. 4x4 now, cluster set. Cluster set, muscle round, means the same thing. It's going to be 4x4 with 15 seconds rest in between sets. So pick a weight that you know is kind of like that 10, 12-ish rep range. And obviously you're going to get 16 reps with it in a short period of time. And it sounds infinitely easier than it is, because it's the most horrible thing to do all week. But, like I said before, do the shit no one else wants to do. It's the only way to guarantee a result, because you know you've outworked everyone if you can do that. So that's all it takes, just hard fucking work. One more, you fucking pussy! So barbell shrugs, 2 working sets, the second one, drop set. It's not much. Like, at this point, everything's pretty fried. The last thing I want to do is tweak something on a kind of, well, I think of it as like an accessory exercise. You know, I could keep loading plates and plates and plates and putting on after a week. I don't really see the benefit. 3 plates, 2 working sets. Second one, drop it to 100 and to 60. There's plenty in there for the traps to respond, and my traps grow really quick anyway. So this is all the direct work they get, because obviously in the pulls they'd have been used, and the rows they'd have been used. So nice and easy finisher. So this next one is based on like DC training. We finish training session with a heavy stretch, a weighted stretch. On this one I'm just going to strap into the chin-up bar. Going to put a 20 plate to myself and hold it for a minute. It really stretched me out. Really nice way to finish a heavy session with a big old stretch. Not many people do it, but I found that it's good for both muscular growth and also for recovery. So I'd thoroughly recommend it. That was a back day. A few days left of the off season, literally less than 2 weeks, and I'll start dieting down for shows. But the training will remain exactly the same. What built it will keep it. It's the old saying. So back day saw here today will be pretty much the same throughout prep. Maybe a small change at the end, just to reduce fatigue if it's built up too quick. But that we're talking the last few weeks. Till that point, it's just a lot of heavy lifting. A lot of being a noisy guy, doing them heavy rows and deadlifts. But I hope you enjoyed the session, hope you learned something from it, or were mildly entertained throughout. And if so, please like and subscribe, all that jazz. And I promise I will do another video again at some point in the future. Don't know whenever Fraser's free, because he's the master behind the camera. I tried filming a session myself, fucking hated it, never do it again, only do it with this wizard. Thank you very much for tuning in. The Naked Smurf out.